Hello. Hello, we're the Chocobros, and welcome to a very special episode of the Chocobros Podcast, because today
you're going to introing it?
Yeah, I'm introing it.
That's what's so special.
As well as that, you're also going to watch Matty possibly die of heat stroke and exhaustion because he's got a hoodie on possibly the hottest day in September that I've ever known.
Yeah, definitely is. Yeah.
So that's why it's very special.
It's commitment.
It is.
It's commitment
it is.
to Dragon Ball Z, to my man Goku.
And that is why it's a very special episode, because we're talking about Dragon Ball Z. Not with the Chocobros, but we can have other interests.
Yeah. A lot of crossover, isn't there, between Final Fantasy Dragon Ball Z?
It is.
Both hail from Japan.
Yep.
Akira Toriyama actually worked with Square for Chrono
for Dragon Quest and
Chrono.
Yeah,
I didn't know that he did Dragon Quest as well. Yeah. I knew Chrono Trigger.
Have you never looked at the art on Dragon Quest?
No, well, the second I seen Chrono Trigger, his name's Chrono and it's the main character.
I think so, yeah.
I was like, I thought they ripped off Dragon
Never played Chrono Trigger. I played like the first 15 minutes. Yeah. I've never went back to it. I probably should.
I played one as a kid, but I don't remember much of it. I just remember that main character looks very, very cool.
Dragon Quest is basically Dragon Ball, to be honest.
There's a remaster of that coming out, isn't there, in November?
I've been third one or something.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like, I haven't really played it. That type. I definitely haven't played a pixelated game like that since I was a kid. So I might actually play that. But yeah, so Dragon Ball Z episode. If this hoodie does get unbearable, it does leave the opportunity for me to do a power-up Super Saiyan cut into potentially a tank top. You know, I haven't been to the gym today though, so I'm not kind of confident enough to throw me tank top on. Is it a tank top or a vest top? Is there a difference?
You know what? I'm gonna say it now. A tank top would be like the stringy one. Well, not like string, but you know, the thing. And a vest is like down. You heard it here first.
If you understood that, please let me know.
Like basically a vest has got no sleeves, it just goes straight down. Basically a top with no sleeves.
Right.
And a tank top is the one where it like comes in.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it shows bits of your chest and stuff.
I don't have a tank top then. So it's a Dragon Ball Z episode, but we're going to start off with an update. So what we've been doing is we've created a kind of a gamification system. So we've used the materia slots from the original Final Fantasy VII to basically work towards some goals towards the end of the year. So we've got things like running for our health on there, or Lee's doing calisthenics. We've got goals for bench pressing, squatting, deadlifting. And we've also got goals, most importantly, for our creative projects, for what we're writing at the minute, what we're working on, music, illustration, that type of thing. So how are you getting on with yours? Have you made any progress?
Yeah, I'm happy to say. Got a page done of the... I'm probably going to have to edit that out.
No, it's just another secret project that we're...
Yes. So that's the drawing going up one. So I'm now
it's hardly rocket science.
I know. Yeah.
It's illustration. If you got a page done. We're doing a kids colouring book. That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII kids colouring book.
Be cool, actually.
It would be cool, actually. New idea.
So you've done a page of that?
Yep. Everything else is pretty much exactly what it was still.
Yeah.
It's been a slow week.
Mine's been the opposite, actually. So creative wise, nothing. Just 'cause I've been busy with work and all, obviously this stuff as well. Started live streaming. So I've done creative stuff, but not working towards some of the goals that I had. But gym wise, really well. I had a great week in the gym last week. One of the best weeks I've had in a while. So we started off, didn't we, at 80 for the bench press for like max rep type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 80 for 8 reps now. So I'm doing well there. So technically, if you put that into a calculator on Google, It does say you can do 100.
You would be one of them people online power scaling. No wonder you're a Dragon Ball Z fan. No, 80 for 8's really good.
Yeah. But I think it's, Google nowadays as well isn't what it used to be. I don't think any information that you get on Google is even remotely reliable anymore. But yeah, so we're both working back up towards doing 100 kilo bench press. You've done higher than me. You've done 110?
115.
115.
No, did I do it? Yeah, I think I've done 115.
Just say it. Sounds good then.
115.
Yeah. I've done 180. My max is 100, and that was a while ago. So it was just getting back up towards that slowly but surely. So so there you go. There's
slowly. Because I can't believe you just said that after I told you I've hurt myself in the gym today. I looked at a weight. Got a stitch or something.
Well, it's a nice, talking about gym stuff actually is a nice segue into talking about Dragon Ball Z. Now,
I feel like we need to appreciate the fact that we both said segue at the same time.
Did we?
But, yeah.
Nice. Segue.
Oh,
it's never worked. We do it on no planet. We always say the same word. When the second we plan it fucks up. Yeah.
Segue.
Joe.
No.
For those of you who haven't seen it, we did on one of the videos.
Do you really want to do it?
We can do it, yeah. So Lee wanted to do the intro together, and I thought it'd be a good idea to fuse the intro, so we did the fusion dance.
Yeah, it's a fusion dance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want to make it sound better, ritual.
Should we do? We got to show them. Show, don't tell.
Go on then.
Storytelling 101.
I've actually kind of forgotten. Oh no, I haven't forgotten. Oh
yeah.
God.
We need to get our hands high. That's the only thing. Where?
Oh yeah, where?
There. Chocobros.
Jesus.
It is horrible, isn't it? And it's growing on me though.
It's not growing on me.
It makes me cringe less every time. That's the third time we've done it, and I've cringed less each time. Right, anyway.
I think I've cringed more.
But anyway, going back to the important stuff. So one of the things I wanted to talk about with Dragon Ball Z was gym related. I was going to save it to the end, but seeing as we've been speaking about the gym, I think we might as well start with it. So, the influence of Dragon Ball Z on us from kids. So, I can't tell you the exact age it was when I first seen it, but I was really young. I'm talking like 3, 4, something like that. Maybe my older brother loved it.
Oh.
Similar to Final Fantasy, that kind of age. All these things hit me at once. Like my older brother loved it, and I sort of fell in love with it from a young age. And I think so. There's a positive and a negative from it. It's 100% like influenced me growing up with fitness and sport and getting into all that type of stuff, and now in the gym as well. But it did have a negative impact as well, and still does to this day, probably, in terms of body dysmorphia.
Well, I remember being absolutely fuming when I found out I was actually like roughly the same height as Goku and weighed more than him, and he looked like that. So it's the unattainable sort of body standards. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's an anime. Yeah.
So it was cartoons back in the day, wasn't it? I think it's classed as an anime now, isn't it? But so I mean, we're not criticising for that, by the way. This isn't a criticism of anyone.
I was going to say, put some respect on the anime name.
No, I'm not. No, I mean the Dragon Ball Z stuff. We're not criticising I'm not saying that Akira Toriyama's giving me body dysmorphia and he shouldn't have done it that way. I'm just saying that it has had an effect.
It looks sick.
Yeah, because I wouldn't change it. When Goku turns Super Saiyan for the first time and his vest is all cut up and he's just absolutely shredded.
Shoulders are
shredded,
bigger than his head.
Shredded, but like massive at the same time. Like that's what you want it to be, isn't it? Like you want something that's unrealistic, because at the end of the day, he's not human either. By the way,
that's who everyone wanted to be. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and he's not human either. So he's an alien essentially. So that's kind of what you want from it. You do want this higher level. I think it's probably harder for younger people now than it was with us growing up. Because the example I always use is Hugh Jackman. He's the best example for how body standards have changed, I think. Because when we were younger, X-Men came out in like 2001.
Yeah.
Now there's a picture of Hugh Jackman topless in that, and like when I was a kid, that was one of the things I sort of looked up to being as well, as like, you know, Christian Bale and Batman as well. Both, you know, they both look great. But if you look at Hugh Jackman now, compared to that, I'll put some pictures up on the screen to show it, because I come back to that all the time, because it's sort of a reminder of like the young version of me growing up watching X-Men would have loved to have had a body like Hugh Jackman. But I'm like at my best, I've definitely been close to that.
Oh yeah. Hugh Jackman's body.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah. Isn't there anything?
Exactly, and I don't want to say it, but I've definitely had that. Body like that before. Whereas now, I mean, we've just come off the back of Deadpool and Wolverine last month, or a couple of months ago, and you know, everyone's talking about how he looks there. And the issue is with stuff like that is like the standards have changed, how celebrities are getting to that point, and how even normal people are getting to that point now has sort of drastically changed, because there's definitely seems to be more common use of PEDs,
performing and enhancing drugs.
And I think because people aren't taking anabolic steroids as much, where they're not sticking needles in their ass, they're taking like tablet forms, aren't they? I think people are thinking like it's okay, but it still has
all the like SARMs and stuff like that.
But they still have detrimental effects. But like say, you know, things like Dragon Ball Z, obviously
you can't take anything away from like Dragon Ball Z and like Akira Toriyama. Like without that, I'm not sure I'd have ever been like really that bothered about getting like, you know, as big as I can and stuff like that, feeling strong and everything like that. Like don't get me wrong, it's not the only influence, but I mean it's a big influence. Like I remember being like 6 or 7, watching Goku train on the way to Namek. With the, like, you know, what was it, 100 times gravity or something like that, and he's doing all this training, and I just thought, next time I go out with the lads, I'm gonna get down, do some push-ups, we're gonna have a push-up competition, and I'm gonna make sure I do more than them.
You did always win at times. You were unstoppable at a push-up competition back in the day. Like.
Back in the day.
With 30 now, we're not. Not over yet. But so that's like from my point of view, I'm not criticising it at all. Like I say, I want, you want Goku to look like that. You want Thor to look like that. You want all these people to look like that. I think with the celebrities and actors doing it, it's different, because the only thing I'd say is you want them to be honest.
Be transparent,
which is definitely not. I'm not saying all of them have taken things, but most of them have. 100%, and they don't admit it.
I mean, you can't make a like body transformation like they do in
that space of time.
4 to 6 months.
You can achieve the bodies, but like I mean, like the Chris Hemsworth's body in I think Ragnarok, which is maybe his biggest, that'll take years. Not doing that. I mean, he's doing it in like 6 months or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. No matter how fit you are or whatever, to sort of get that, to get that size. It's, it is thingy, but you know. We're not saying anyone's taking anything just for legal reasons, but
if you're watching Chris Hemsworth, I remember being like 6 or 7, and this links back to like, you know, the whole like I never told anyone that I liked Final Fantasy. I didn't really tell anyone that I liked Dragon Ball Z either as a kid, but
it was more acceptable though, wasn't it?
I was practicing me Kamehamehas in the dinner line. And the teacher noticed, and I was like, "Oh, Dragon Ball Z."
Oh, really?
And I was like, "No." But then, like, that got me talking about it a bit. It was but that's the influence, like, you know, me trying to do a Kamehameha in school.
It's a good point that though, because we always talk about obviously where we come from and how a lot of this stuff for us. It might sound crazy to some people, but like coming from like a council estate in Liverpool, like. Even at a really young age, at an age where it's like, you know, acceptable most places around the world to sort of be into this stuff, it wasn't. I mean, we'd be like 7 years old and we'd be getting grief from people in the street or in school for liking, you know, Final Fantasy and things like that. Dragon Ball Z was the one thing that was you'd get less grief for because of the hyper masculine kind of.
Yeah.
No,
And
it was
just fighting, weren't it? Because like the only time I've ever sprained a bone in my body was fighting with the lads in school. Because we were trying to do Dragon Ball Z. Now that sounds bad, but like everyone was normally okay. I think I tried to pick someone up, and they ended up just falling on me a bit funny, and so it was self-inflicted injury kind of. But yeah, the only time I ever got a sprain thanks to Dragon Ball Z. And as you can see, I'm very happy about it.
Well, it was it's a good point that actually, because it was Dragon Ball Z that got me through a bad injury I had a few years ago. Like it was sort of like, you know, the kind of compilations or the AMVs is doing on back in the day. And when I broke my knee doing
Vegeta in the rain to wake me up.
But I'd obviously broke my knee, hadn't I? Like I can't remember how long ago, like 6 years ago now. Doing jiu-jitsu, which again was probably largely influenced by Dragon Ball Z. I'd snapped my knee, and then the recovery was worse than what it should have been because of what happened with the hospital and all that type of thing. But yeah, a lot of like what got me through that was like watching like inspirational Dragon Ball Z like montages and stuff, just like while I'm laid up with a cast on me and all that kind of thing. So again, it's just like, you know, it has an influence obviously still to this day. But yeah, when we were saying about when we were younger as well, and like the influence from that age as well. Like I got into boxing as well, largely because of Dragon Ball Z. Because it was like once I got to that age where I realised I can't, like when I do this and do a cameo, nothing comes out of me. I was like, what's the next best thing? I can do a bit of boxing in there.
Again, I'm going to stop telling stories because I feel like I'm giving Dragon Ball Z a bad name. But I also got into boxing when I was younger. And I used to enjoy it when, like, because you'd wrap your hands up and like practice and stuff like that. I used to love it when I'd bleed through the bandages and stuff, because I felt like because they had to like basically take damage to get a Zenkai boost. Like I'd be like, oh, that's making me stronger. And like now I've got scars on my knuckles, but like I'm not sure if they're stronger.
It's like Rocky punching the meat and it just absolutely destroyed his knuckles for life, didn't it? But yeah, it did. Like I say, I mean, we were going to sort of do this the other way around. We've got some fun stuff in that for later on, and just sort of talking through the games and that, and we were sort of going to get into the deeper stuff later, but we're actually doing it the other way because I think it leads us nicely as well, sort of going back to our childhood and that, and like the influence on us to our favourite characters. Now mine, when I watched Dragon Ball Z for the first time when I was a kid, mine was 100% Gohan, and I think this is probably true for a lot of people as well because he was the kid, and he fits that stereotype or trope perfectly of a character who has got this male ideal he can never possibly live up to. It's just normally someone's dad. So you've got Gohan and Goku, you've got Simba, Mufasa. I'm obviously playing for Final Fantasy 16 at the minute. You can see that with Clive and his dad, but Clive and also his little brother, interestingly, as well. And Clive sort of not being the chosen one. And that's the interesting thing about Dragon Ball Z as well, is like, I think Gohan was supposed to be like the chosen one of that series, wasn't he? But then, was it fans who kept making Gohan?
It's one of them where like it's kind of like a myth. Like no one knows.
No one knows why.
But essentially, like people say that it was supposed to be Gohan. That finished the series. But, fans wanted to see more Goku. I mean, anyone that's seen the Boo saga knows you want Gohan to
oh my god, that's my favourite. Either that or future Gohan, but that's me.
Oh, future Gohan, man.
I mean, but that's a better moment than Gohan.
Future Gohan's future Gohan's the absolute GOAT. You forget about the one. Like I forgot about him, and now all of a sudden I'm like, wow. What a guy.
To see the Super Saiyan going in the
one arm and everything.
But he was, like I say, he was the big one for me, I think. And like we spoke about this before. Again, for us, come from a council estate, there's a lot of your value as a young lad on a council estate is how based around how strong you are. That's all it is. Like that's it. That's the like beginning, middle, and end of it. There's nothing else.
You've just unlocked a memory. I'm sorry.
No good.
Speaking of that, I remember a bunch of like me and my mates and their mates, right? So you know when like friend groups merge and there's always that like tension, like everyone's like, you know, sussing each other out and stuff like that. I decided, let's do a budokai tenkaichi tournament. Right, we got all the hay, or well, you know, like the mowed grass on the field, made a big square, right, and we done like a knockout tournament, right, where like anyone like got through over. Well, I won. Obviously. Me and my mate, the last two, and we were going for about 15 minutes. I got told off in school the next day because someone from one of the teachers could see us from outside their back and was like, what are you doing? But I ended up winning, and because of that, all of like my mates instantly, like, they'd see me on the street and stuff like that, and they'd be like, all right, and like, you know, giving me respect and stuff, because like I'd won this big tournament.
I mean, that's all it was for like for our entire childhood. Like the only thing that mattered in Liverpool growing up was how hard you were, how strong you were, you could fight and all that type of thing, and it was horrible as well. And that's another reason why I related to Gohan, because I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to hurt other people. I was a sensitive kid, and Gohan was like that. And again, like in terms of influence, that Cell saga with Gohan, where he snaps after the thing with Android 16, like that sort of helped me as well as a kid, because it was like, oh no, like, you know, you can be sensitive and think it's not bad to actually, you know, stand up for yourself, basically, is what I learned from that. It's like, oh yeah, you can actually stand up for yourself. And yeah, like we were speaking about the other day, like for both of us, for me at least anyway, I grew up with 3 older brothers who, there's a bit of an age gap as well, so there was a lot of that, you know, wrestling when you're a kid, and obviously I never won because the age gap is too big. But then also my dad, so I'd hear, he'd never spoke about it himself really, but I'd hear from other people, other kids and kids' parents in the street, oh, your dad when he was a kid, he was hard knock, he used to do, you know, he was the dad, strong fella, he used to box, he used to do this. And it was like that expectation that I could never live up to. And it's like, go on with Goku. You can just never live up to it, and then he always sort of feels like he feels like he comes short because of it, and because he wants to study and he wants to do all these different things, and he's sensitive, and he just doesn't want to fight at all. He just feels sort of, you can tell it obviously has an effect on him throughout the series. You know, like he doesn't feel like enough, basically. So like I related to him like a lot as a kid, and like I say, like the influence of that was like, the more he grew, the more sort of it helped me grow as well. Because, and like that's what I'm saying about the arc, that's why I felt like Dragon Ball Z was designed for Gohan to be the main person, because you see him through like the Saiyan saga into the Frieza saga, and that growth from like the cowardly kid, sensitive and cowardly, into Cell saga, where he's just the arc from like Saiyan saga into Saiyan Man is like fantastic, you know, the kind of shy kid and stuff like that, and then he's this really stupid, like it's funny because it's almost like I've seen people do like pure psychology breakdowns and stuff, and they say that that's Gohan's trauma from dealing with the Ginyu Force showing itself, but like that is essentially like what it is. He's like, you know, as crazy as the Ginyu Force, doing all these poses and stuff. But it's testament to his character as well. Like he doesn't want the fame. He's not doing it for that. He's doing it because he genuinely cares, and he wants to sort of go on. He wants to have a normal life, doesn't he? He wants to go to school and study, and he doesn't want anyone to know what he is. Which again is like, shows how good of a character he is. But yeah, I think obviously is.
Although you've got to be honest, if you had the powers that Gohan had, or you know what, even strip it down, if you were as strong and as ripped as Gohan, you wouldn't spend all your time studying and stuff like that when you get older.
What did he do though? Yeah, but what else would he be doing?
Like training, like Goku.
It doesn't need to though, does it? He's alright, he just squeezes his muscles and then they're just there. He doesn't need to do it.
Actually, if only it worked like that.
Yeah, so for me, he was and still is my favourite character because he's always been the one I've had the most connection to. Obviously, I love Goku and all the others as well, Piccolo and that. I always hated Vegeta, to be honest.
Really? I think I hated him as a kid. I appreciate him.
I appreciate him now, yeah, but I hated him as a kid.
Yeah. But I'd say mine, quite similar to you. I did love Gohan. Saw like quite a lot of him in me as well. Obviously, you can't really relate to Goku. He's very...
it's a Superman.
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
quite
Superman and Neo at the end of the first Matrix problem in it, where you've got a character that's so...
But like, he's also like he's incredibly one track. Yeah. Like, if it's fighting, it's like, it's nothing. Yeah. You know, if it's not fighting, it's nothing. Which is like... It's great to watch, not to want to be, you know. But no, like, loved Gohan, and then Trunks appeared.
I just forget. I don't know why I always forget about him.
Man, like, just wanted
Trunks is the coolest.
Just wanted to be Trunks. As soon as I discovered Trunks, just wanted to be him. And then, like, we've talked about this in the past, haven't we? Yeah. Trying to use Ultra Instinct there to...
Speaking of Dragon Ball Z.
Like we've spoke about this in the past where you'd get to like certain episodes in the UK and then it would just start again. Yeah. And then you'd end up watching like the same episode, like, or like they'd start like halfway through a saga so that they can get more episodes, and you'd end up watching the same episode like 3 or 4 times. It always seemed to be the episodes with Trunks that you'd catch, and it was like, this is the guy. Yeah. Like I think I was researching how to get me hair. Like, thank God I never did. But that was when like I was a kid. Like, you know, just wanted to be cool and stuff like that. As I've gotten older, and like I've told you about this, you got me Piccolo. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get him.
Have you got it?
Yeah. Hang on. Keep them busy.
Keep them busy.
This is how much it means to me as well. It's on my gym fob.
Nice.
Piccolo. Right. We'll keep him there or something.
Yeah, we get him in the shot. Yeah, him and Goku. That's actually timing wise. That's right, is it?
Yeah.
Put that into battle.
Yeah. Like as I've gotten older, I appreciate Piccolo so much more than I ever did as a kid. He's possibly the nicest character in the entire show.
Gohan's real father.
Gohan's real father, yeah. And I think that's why I really like him. He just exhibits shows, I don't know, but all these like really positive traits. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still like very moody and stuff like that. And like, I'll be honest, I have kind of swapped Team 4 Stars dub. I wanted to say dub, but I felt like it wasn't right. But I've kind of swapped Team 4 Stars like personalities and stuff with the actual characters. Yeah. But I do think Piccolo is just like fantastic, especially like in Super now, because I read it. Piccolo's just like honestly the best character. Whenever he's in something, he's just like so nice to Gohan. He's positive. He knows what to do. He knows when to leave something alone. He knows when to get involved. He's just a great character.
Well, there's an emotional moment with him as well when Gohan, Saiyan's ultimate Gohan, and he's coming down from the sky, and Piccolo thinks it's Goku. And it's like, it's only a small little thing, but it's actually quite a powerful moment, because it's like, and like for Piccolo as well, where he starts saying, and doesn't he, Gohan comes down, and Piccolo's like, I don't even recognise you, the confidence. You know who you are, and it's like sort of almost like a proud father of like,
very proud,
you know, he's took this cowardly, sensitive kid and basically trained him up over the years to become this like, you know, machine for he was for like 5 minutes at the end of the Buu saga. But I know what you mean about Piccolo. He's the same. I was the same, where I wasn't a massive fan of him when I was a kid, but growing up, you sort of see what he did actually in the importance of him, because he did seem a bit harsh, but he was doing that to sort of teach Gohan,
Exactly.
to prepare him basically for all the shit he was going to face.
It's the harsh teacher trope, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it works. It works perfectly. And you can tell he cares, and he's not like, there's loads of like sweet moments with him as well. I mean, he leaves him, doesn't he, in the middle of the desert for like weeks or something, doesn't he? He's having the Saiyan saga,
but then like they show that he's actually very close by.
Yeah,
and he's never actually letting anything bad happen to him.
And again, he's doing it to prepare him for like, because the threat that's coming is going to be worse than that. So he is doing it out of actually love and care. But yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the more deeper stuff out the way, which we're going to do later on. But I think now we get into the...
Now we can run through the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. Yeah, so budokai journey, where it all started for us. So, like we say, we love Dragon Ball Z as kids, watching it on the telly. And then, to my amazement, when I was, again, I'm going to say around 6, 7, we used to have a fella who used to sell us like dodgy PlayStation 1 games. The games are fine, but he'd like give you them for cheap. You're like, dude, what do you call it back in the day? Burns?
Just on a disc.
On a disc, yeah. None of this was legal. Yeah. But
CD-ROM.
CD-ROM, yeah. And he came round one time and we said to him, we come around like every couple of weeks or something. He'd have all these games, you'd look through them, buy them for like a couple of quid. And we seen him one time, and my brother was like, oh, have you got any Dragon Ball Z games? Because, you know, saying about me, he was like, you know, he's desperate for the Dragon Ball Z game. So I'll have a look. He came back the next week and he had this game, Goku on the front. So I was like, he's wearing a different outfit. This blue like outfit on his yellow pants. I was like, that's weird. Put it in, and there was all these characters I didn't know. There was this big ape that was like, looked a bit like Vegeta's great ape, but like not. He was like golden and all that. I was like, that's weird. There's a little girl. Goku was a kid as well. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And it turned out it was only years later, years after I'd watched Dragon Ball Z, I'd seen Dragon Ball GT. And I was like, that's that game. It was Dragon Ball Final Bout.
Final Bout.
Yeah. I was like, I thought this fella had sold us a dodgy game. Yeah. I thought someone's made this. Like, I didn't obviously at the time, I was a kid, didn't know anything worked. I thought someone's made this game and like had a home in the basement or something. And like they just put out like made up all these characters. And it was literally like 5, 6, maybe 7 years later. I was like, oh god, that's what that was. Yeah. So that was the first ever Dragon Ball game I played. Was Dragon Ball Final Bout. Yeah, because I got it off a dodgy salesman.
I think that I can't remember if my first one was Budokai or if it was Final Bout, but I've got like similar memories of Final Bout, just being like blown away. Like what's this? Like using Cell and spamming explosive wave and Kamehameha because he was like the quickest at doing the Kamehameha. To get through everything, and then the Great Ape must have died to that about 1 million times, but then finally beat it. And then the absolute shock of Super Saiyan 4 Goku straight after the Great Ape. I was like, what's this? What is this? Yeah, no, that was fantastic. But yeah, no, like I remember like my kind of earliest memories apart from Final Bout of Budokai and not having a memory stick. Wow, I can't believe I nearly forgot the name. Not having a memory stick. But back then, if you didn't have a memory stick, they'd give you the code, and it would literally be like a novel that you had to write down. Literally like a chapter of a book, and you'd have to put that in every time. So I think after I got fed up with that, I had to restart Dragon Ball Budokai for like the 3rd time. I decided, nah, this is it. I think I'd done it in 2 sittings to finally beat Cell at the end, because that's all Budokai went up to. Cell. But yeah. So
well, after Final Bout for me, then me mate over the road, used to live over the road from me, had Budokai. And I remember the first time I went round to play it, I felt ill, genuinely. Like I was so upset that I didn't have it myself. I was like absolutely, and I wasn't really like that as a kid. Do you know what I mean? I was spoiled, so I didn't really like, moan for anything. But I remember going home and I remember feeling sick. Because I was like, I can't believe I can't play this game. Because the capsules and that for me in the original budokai, that absolutely, because it was centered around the capsules. Everything was, unlocking Kamehameha was a capsule. And all that, which was a really
it's a really,
and
I wish we saw more of that, to be honest.
Because I do think they got less and less creative with some things in that way, which we'll talk about in a minute. But and I remember just being sort of livid that I didn't get it, but I ended up getting it a few months later. Just played it non-stop, and then obviously every year got the new one that came out.
Yeah, every single year.
Did you ever have, just a side note, did you have the one for the Game Boy? Legacy of Goku?
No,
so
I didn't.
That was the first ever game, right? So me and my older brother, we're into the same things, Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy, and that was the very first game I ever completed before him. On the Game Boy, Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. I remember he was fuming as well. It was like, it was the first time. It must have been that moment for him, like as an older brother, where he's like, hang on a minute. He's like, he's a man now. He's completed the game. I was like 10, but there was that. And then I remember, I had one of them on the Wii. It might have been Tenkaichi 3 actually. Was the first time I beat my brother at a battle.
Oh yeah, because we played that in uni, didn't we? And he just hated playing against me because I won all the time. It wasn't recorded, so
you learn a lot as we go on doing this. Actually, Lee always talking about how he wins at things, but you'll never see it. You'll never actually see him win at anything.
You will,
because either one or two things happen.
You'll when Sparking Zero comes on.
One or two things happen. Either he folds under the pressure when the big red light comes on and recording, or I'm very tactical with the editing, and I just don't show you I'm winning it. I'll leave you to it.
Mostly folding under the pressure.
And I actually remember the moment, so I saved it. It's the first time I ever saved like a clip or whatever on a game, and it was he was little Trunks, kid Trunks, and I was adult Trunks, and we were playing in like the tournament setting. And I kneed him in the face out of the thing, and that was genuinely so. That's just one little battle, not even like best out of 3. That was the first time I ever beat him. That's how ruthless he was. Talking about Piccolo being ruthless. My brother wouldn't let me win at any, ever. Not even one game of Dragon Ball Z. That was the first time I ever beat him. And then he tried to pretend he let me win. I was like, you haven't let me win. It's 5-6 years of us doing anything. But yeah, so in terms of all them then, so Budokai's, Tenkaichi, your favourite one?
See, it's difficult because like I actually kind of forget what my favourite one is. They kind of all merge together, especially because like they were sold every year, weren't they? They were kind of like just iterations.
Every October, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like there's so many great things from each one, like the little like board game one, that's cool.
That's, I've said, but for me, that is my absolute favourite. I know the flying and that's great. I don't know
which one that is though. Is that Budokai or Budokai Tenkaichi too?
No, I think I might be wrong, but I think all the Tenkaichis are just straight up menus and cutscenes. But I think Budokai 2 was the board game, and Budokai 3 was the flying around.
See, I seem to remember Tenkaichi being flying around as well.
Maybe, but Tenkaichi 3 was definitely just Super
Saiyan 4 Goku and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they had that in. So
and you could be like Vegeta and stuff.
Yeah, because you complete. I think it's Budokai 3. You complete it, and then you can go back and complete it with different characters.
You know what? Actually, I remember. I do actually remember that Budokai 3 with Super Saiyan 4. Goku on the front, and I think he had like Cooler and like Broly or something.
Yeah, like, Broly was big in that game. Yeah.
But in the background with him, and I remember being blown away by that game. So that's a fantastic one.
Story-wise, interestingly, in some ways, it wasn't better, but Budokai 2, if I am right about that, the board game one, basically where it's like a board game, that was the most interesting story-wise because it wasn't actually the story. It was a different thing, so you could start straight away in the Saiyan saga with like Goten and all that, and it would roughly follow it. So you'd have the sagas, and it's roughly what's going on is the same, but it's basically you're going around the board to capture the Dragon Ball before you've got to fight them so many times. But it was different.
Well, I remember like things popping up, like if it took so many turns to do something, then like an extra event would happen, or like if you did it quicker. Like you'd get to like skip a fight and like something would change in like the timeline or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. And I think if you beat Frieza with Vegeta instead of Goku, you unlock Super Saiyan for him first, but you couldn't unlock Super Saiyan for Goku unless you played through it again or something mad like that. You had to go through the story again. Yeah. But I liked that. I liked it when he mixed it up because I always say, don't I hate Raditz.
Yeah.
And for no other reason that, because we played those games every year, it'd be found out weird. Because we played those games every year, I think it was just a sort of, it always felt like a little bit of a slog, just the first bit of fighting Raditz again. Mm-hmm. And I also think the best they ever did that was when you had the analog stick control and you had all the Goku and you had to just position him. I think you had like 30 seconds to get him in the line where Piccolo was to do the special beam cannon. But I do feel like they got, I might be wrong about like the orders of stuff. So the games obviously got better as they went on. And Budokai Tenkaichi 3, I think, is the best gameplay, it's the biggest roster of characters. And the biggest story, because I think you had Dragon Ball as well. I guess some of the films, maybe.
Yeah, films as well.
So you had all that, but I actually think they got less creative with how they did certain things.
Presented it as well.
Yeah, because I think it was the early ones where you could do the summon, where you could have like, if Majin Buu or if Cell thingied Krillin and and all that type of thing.
Well, that was a what if in the original Budokai, I think.
And in the board game one, you had the thing where, because it didn't follow the story, so when you got to the Buu saga, you had Buu, Cell and Frieza in the one thing, and you had a version of Super Buu that inhaled Frieza and Cell. I don't think you've seen the Cell one. I think it was only the Frieza one because you couldn't get to him in time to fight him or something. The way it worked, you'd only see one of them, but he'd inject both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, no, I do. I remember. I think both of them turn around, don't they?
Yeah, but he does definitely do both of them, but you'd only fight one of them. You'd only see it, so you'd only actually fight him with, I think, I'm sure it's Frieza's head. I don't think you'd ever see him with like Cell's head. I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so each game had like a different positive to it. I think.
Definitely.
Charm.
Like, because it, you know what? If you could mash it all up like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, can you imagine? Like you had like mini games that had the board and stuff like that. Oh,
that'd be amazing.
I mean, I'm disappointing myself for Sparking Zero.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping they do something, interesting with the basically the bits of gameplay before you get into a fight. I hope it's not just a cutscene and just a menu and that's it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what it'd be like. I mean, the most important thing is obviously as long as the actual fighting's good and it's, the way they do the story's good, it looks interesting with all the what ifs and, the different sorts of scenarios that there might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's our like bits from the favourite game. But favourite saga? Bit of a difficult one.
Very.
I just want to.
Again, they've all kind of got things that
they've got their own charm, they've got their own moments.
Yeah.
But I want to give a bit of love to, and this, some people hate this, and I get it, but I love GT.
I love GT.
I absolutely we do, don't we? We both love GT. I think arguably
Super Saiyan 4 is the best transformation.
Super Saiyan 4 is brilliant.
Even makes sense.
Yeah.
Like later in life.
Yeah. I actually like the story of it. I mean, it's Grand Tour, isn't it? The way they travel on these. Actually reminds me of the Rebirth section of Final Fantasy, where it's just this globe chatting thing. Universe chatting thing. I actually really like that, but at the same time, I don't like what they did to a lot of the characters. I don't like the way Trunks looks, the way Gohan and Goten look in particular.
Yeah.
Vegeta with the moustache, I can get on board with, to be honest. I didn't like it at first, but I quite like it. But yeah,
I hate the fact that he chopped his hair off.
I know, really.
What's all that about?
I mean, he did have a terrible hairline, to be fair. So,
yeah, but he had to keep all that.
So I actually love GT, but it's not my favourite saga of Dragon Ball. My favourite saga, by some distance, to be honest, merged. I know it's technically two separate sagas, but the Android and Cell saga merged into one.
It's gotta be.
If I had to choose between them two, I'd probably say the Android saga.
Really, yeah.
Just because I love the Android so much.
But
they merged though.
I'm very tempted to agree with you because like the proper like kick-ass scenes with like Vegeta
Android
showing that he's Super Saiyan, Trunks slashing, Goku stopping the sword.
Yeah.
And then 18 breaking Vegeta's arm, which is a fantastic character moment.
TN, is that part of the android? Or does that go into the
Cell,
cell?
Yeah. But that's what I mean, like there is great Android Saga moments.
Yeah.
But I do think Cell ekes it out a bit. The introduction of Cell, how creepy that was. Like, Jesus, that's some brilliant storytelling.
Cell's actually my favourite overall villain as well. Yeah, like perfect Cell. I just think I like the way he's intelligent, he's calculating. He's got that kind of thing that you want in a villain, that kind of stepping off Homelander type thing about him, where he's just like, I'll do what I want and you won't do anything about it. Whereas Frieza, I think it's the coldness in it. I think it's what you want from a villain. It's like, you want that sort of horrible, cold, calculated, emotionless.
It's the fact that like he's so intelligent as well, and it's like, you know, I can do whatever I want. Yeah. But you know what? Come fight me. Yeah. If any of you win, I won't destroy the planet and stuff like that. You know, it's like it's the pure cockiness, and it's the mix of like Vegeta, like because he's got all of them, hasn't he? It's like the mix of Vegeta, Goku wanting to fight all the time, probably like bits of Tien and Yamcha that you probably never see. They've been recessed, but like some part of them is in them. Yeah. But like it's just that. He's even got the best parts of Frieza, the whole, like, you know, I am above you. No matter what. Yeah. I love him. Like, he is probably, like, if it had ended there, you'd have been happy. Yeah. You would have been happy. And Gohan even saves the day as well. Like,
that's what I mean. I think it's got, like, it's definitely got all the best villains. Maybe people are
right, it was supposed to end themselves, I guess.
It's got all the best villains for me as well. I mean, a villain to hero, Android 16. Android 16 was my second favourite character when I was a kid, weirdly. I absolutely loved him. But yeah, I'd say that's my favourite. Frieza's Saga was the first one I remember. That was the first one I ever watched as a kid.
Oh, really?
That's why I don't really have much of an affinity. I always say the Saiyan Saga is my least favourite. I just don't have an affinity with it because I didn't watch that till I was a little bit older. So I started in Namek. That was where I kind of...
Luckily, I started at the Saiyan Saga, so
that's what I mean. I don't have that kind of
straight where it started.
So I sort of missed out a little bit on that character growth with like Vegeta. So Vegeta was pretty much a good guy by the time I'd sort of think of him. So he just seemed like an asshole to me because I didn't know he was used to be. You know, and then like so I sort of had a dislike for the Saiyan Saga, but I do think that was mainly enhanced because of the games. Like I say, it was just that sort of going through.
I mean, everyone hates fighting Reddit. Like,
I just didn't like him as a character. But it'd be interesting to see with Sparking Zero anyway, all the different variations you can do. You can dodge Reddits completely. That'd be
well, I mean, I've like just based on what I've seen in the trailers and stuff, it looks like you're getting about 3 different spin-offs from just the Reddit fights. So.
No, that'd be good. It'd be good to see. But so we're both looking forward to it, aren't we?
We're only 100%.
We're very near it. We're going to be playing it together. A lot, I imagine. Instead of doing these videos, we'll probably just sit on the plan to get together, do podcasts and just do this instead. But
no, what we should have done, just got instead of doing the podcast, just talk to each other whilst playing Sparking Zero and just try and put each other off.
So there's another episode done. We never know how to end these, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you
if you made
watching.
it this far. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, all that crap.
Subscribe. What's the animation I'm going to do for that? In my head, it looks great. It'll be terrible.
Father, son, Kamehameha. Chocobro, Kamehameha.
I'm going to do Chocobro out, right? Instant transmission. Ready?
So
all you need to do is look at the camera and I'm going to edit us out.
Okay.
I'm going to fuck it up.
Sound.
Yeah, look terrible.
Yeah. I like that.
Let's see. Let me know what you think of this transition. Ready? Chocobros out.
Chocobros out.